Hi there, music fans, and welcome to another one of my polls, another Beatles-related poll. And I thought I'd do something different this time and give you my least favourite Beatles songs, plus my songs that I didn't really care for when I was younger, but now I absolutely love. So it's two sets of five. So I've done five songs that I didn't really care for when I was younger, but now I absolutely love them. And yeah, five songs I still really don't really care for. I will say that like everybody else has to say on these videos, that these are just my choices. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean you don't have to like it either. Everybody hears music the same. I can't tell you what to like, you can't tell me what to like. And I guess the one that'll probably shock most people is my number one, because a lot of Beatles fans pick this as one of their favourite Beatles songs when they're doing polls. And when I love watching all them polls on YouTube, and the countdown of like I don't know whether it's 253, something like that, to number one. And this always rates very high. It's always in top 30 or 20 anyway. But I never really cared for it. But we'll get to that now in a few minutes. I'm going to give you now five songs that I never really cared for as a child or grown up, but now I absolutely love. And I think without one exception, they're all John Lennon tracks. As most of you know on this channel, that I'm a big Paul McCartney fan, so I guess I always love Paul McCartney. Although he's made a couple of records as well that I don't really care for either. But I suppose when you have so many songs, yeah, you have to kind of pick which ones you like and which ones you don't like. And this is my top five songs that I didn't really care for when I was younger, but now I absolutely love. So number five, I have Tomorrow Never Knows. Just gonna come out and say it, Tomorrow Never Knows. Never really cared for that track. I suppose as a kid or as an early teen, I like songs, proper songs. And I'm not saying it's not a proper song, but it took me a while to get what he was doing. It took me a long time to get into the Beatles kind of experimental type songs like this. I've never grown up. I was big into the Red and Blue album, as I said before. Most kids in the 80s or 70s and 80s grew up with the Red and Blue albums, and I was one of them kids, and I loved the Red album with all the early stuff. So that was what got me into the Beatles, and I was never really into their kind of experimental stuff until much later, and I absolutely love a lot of it now. But Tomorrow Never Knows, I never really cared for that track growing up, and I was well aware of it, and I heard it, and I was like, oh my God, it's all played on one chord. Why do people love this so much? But I suppose as I got older, I started appreciating how fantastic it was, and I absolutely love the track now. So number four, I have Within You Without You by George Harrison. And it's only, I think, the last couple of years that I've really got on board with this track. And I think it's from listening to all George's interviews that you find some incredible interviews on YouTube. Radio interviews through the 70s and 80s, and it's really got me to have another look at this song, and I absolutely love the track now, and I can understand the words a lot more now as an adult than I could when I was growing up. So number four, Within You Without You. Number three, Your Blues from the White Album. The White Album gets a few mentions in this video, but Your Blues, I was never really, like the White Album, I'm a bit kind of, you know, it's the only album that I like by the Beatles that I would actually skip certain songs that I don't really care for. And this was one of the songs I used to skip all the time, but not anymore. I absolutely love it. Absolutely fantastic track. I love listening to it now, and it's definitely one I wouldn't skip now. So Your Blues. Number two, shocker, Strawberries Fields Forever. As a kid, I never got into that song. I just seriously never got into it until probably the last, 15 to 20 years I got into it. But growing up, I was never really into that. Again, it was on the Blue album, which I was never really fond of. Blue album was more a Red album. And but I'm thinking to myself, how did I not like this? Because it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. Strawberry Fields Forever, number 2. So number 1, I Want You, She's So Heavy. I just thought the words were kind of stupid back in the day. It's just them saying the same thing over and over again. And then re-examine it. I think especially with the remaster that came out a couple of years ago, I just had another look at this song and I absolutely love it now. And it's one of my most played songs on Spotify last year. And so it's really, really grown on me and I absolutely love it now. And yeah, I listen to the whole White Album now because it's the one that I used to always skip on the White Album, but I absolutely love it now, every minute of it. I know that was another reason why I didn't like it growing up, because I thought it was just a little bit too long. So anyway, that's my top 5 the songs I didn't really care for when I was younger, but now I absolutely love. So now I'm going to give you my top 5 of songs I still don't care for, really don't care for. So number 5, I have What Goes On by the Beatles. It was on the Rubber Soul album, and it was sung by Ringo. And as I said in previous posts as well, Rubber Soul is my favourite Beatles album. Absolutely love Rubber Soul. Yeah, definitely my favourite Beatles album. But this is the one track on that album that I really don't really care for, even though I've said as well that I wouldn't skip the song because I absolutely love listening to Rubber Soul start to finish. Yeah, so I wouldn't skip it, and I don't hate it, you know, but it's just with picking my least favourite track, I'd have to say What Goes On is one that I don't really care for that much. Anyway, so I wanted to just say as well that I didn't pick in this top 5 any tracks or bits of tracks like Dig It or Wild Honey Pie, and I certainly didn't pick Revolution 9 because that's a bit of a cop out. Because Revolution 9, I don't really consider it much of a song, you know. It's a track. To me, it's a track. It's not a song. So I didn't include anything like that. I didn't include any covers either. These are all songs written by Lennon, McCartney, or Harrison, or Starr. I don't think there's any Ringo Starrs in my top 5. But number 4, I have Hold Me Tight. Yeah, I just never really cared for that track either. It's kind of forgettable. And again, it was on with the Beatles, and yeah, I love listening to that album start to finish, but it's probably my least favourite on that album. So the top 3 now all come from the White Album, and as I said, I have mixed feelings about the White Album. I love probably half of the songs on the album, and then I don't really care for the other half. So I have 3 in the top 3, and as I said at the start of this video, the number 1 will probably shock people. But number 3, I have Buffalo Bill. It's not a great track, you have to admit. It's not. It's a fun little kid song, really, but as a Beatles song, I'm not really crazy about it. Number 2, Rocky Raccoon. Just never got it. I've never got into it. Again, it's another one, kind of kids like Paul track, and never mad about it. So here we go. Number 1, the song that I probably should like, but as I said before, you can't tell people what to like. And this is a song I never really cared for, and yeah, and a lot of Beatles fans rate this high, and it's Happiness Is a Warm Gun. I've never really cared for that track. I still, it's a song I've tried to like over the years because I know how high it rates in Beatles polls. So I'm kind of forcing myself. Maybe that's the reason why I don't really care for it that much. I'm trying to force myself to like it, and I understand all the lyrics. I've read all the books. I know exactly what John was singing about and all. I don't know whether that makes me even like it even less. But it's just a track, and I'm sure a lot of Beatles fans love it. A lot of people rate it very high. It's just my least favourite Beatles track today. And yeah, I could do this poll again tomorrow and have a whole different bunch of songs for you. But I just thought, for a bit of fun, I'd do a Beatles related video. So if you have any comments, leave them in the section below. If not, thank you and bye.